Okay, so let me play this other game,
Yeah.
if we could.
Yeah.
This is crazy. This is a crazy idea, but it's funny. So I'm going to tell you this idea. Okay. So when we were doing that X Spaces, I was thinking, okay, so I watched that debate and I thought, what the hell? Now, Trump didn't talk about his team. And that was a big mistake. He made a variety of mistakes. Like, he wasn't catastrophic in the debate, and I had some sympathy for him, which was elicited more than usual. Apart from that, he made strategic errors, and the strategic error is something like, well, Trump could have said, well, I'm old, and we know where that can go, and no one can do this alone. And isn't it weird that this collection of motley characters has gathered around me, and they're remarkably stellar. I mean, Musk says he'll head the Department of Government Efficiency. It's like, I'd vote for Trump just for that. It's like, okay, Elon Musk is in, and then it's Kennedy, and it's Tulsi Gabbard and Vivek, and J.D. Vance, even for that matter. These aren't the typical run-of-the-mill political candidates. They're these strange, exotic, once-in-a-lifetime creatures that have all come together. And then I thought, well, Trump should be pointing out repeatedly that he's developed this remarkable team around him, like this team of misfits, let's say, genius misfits. And then I thought, and this is the crazy part of it, I thought, that's exactly the theme of the biggest entertainment enterprise of the last 15 years. That's exactly the theme of the Avengers. And it's exactly the theme of the X-Men, that this collection of preposterous people will come together because there's a civilizational moment at hand. We're being invaded by the demonic Chitauri from another dimension. But it's this collection of misfits that come together, right? Spectacular misfits that are redemptive. And then I thought, and then Tammy said, well, Musk is an X-Man. And I thought, why? She said, well, his platform is X. And I thought, oh my God, that's so comical, especially because I read, there's something weird going on there, because Musk had the idea that he was going to produce a universal platform, service platform, called X, that he's been striving to build for decades. And now he's rebranded Twitter X, not because that was an idea post-Twitter, but because he'd incorporated the Twitter idea into the X idea. And so I thought, well, that was pretty funny. And then I thought, well, what the hell is X? And X is a cross. So I think that's funny too. So anyways, I don't think it's disputable that large-scale mass entertainment projects of extremely high cost and distribution that are popular are manifestations of something like the collective imagination, because there has to be a concordance between the creator and the audience for them to work. The same thing happened with J.K. Rowling, right? And so they are manifestations of the collective unconscious. And so then there's this weird concordance between what's happening politically. And I thought, well, that's also what Trump should be capitalizing on. It's like I don't think he's fully processed the significance of all these strange people that have come to his side in the last month, right? And no wonder, because who knows what to make of that? Robert Kennedy and Trump? And now they're concerned with public health? Like, both of those are ridiculously revolutionary. And the fact that Musk is along and Gabbard as well, and these are all former Democrats, it's like there's something extraordinarily strange going on. So anyways, X-Men, X, and the cross, I don't think that's fluke. And I know that's terribly conspiratorial and ridiculous, but the idea that it's just coincidence is also not appropriate. So anyways, that was the idea I wanted to tell you guys, because this is what Trump should be doing.
Yes.
This is his message. It's like, I've got the X-Men, boys and girls, and that's wild and improbable, and there's massive risk in it, but think about the potential benefit if it works. It's an entrepreneurial strategy, high risk, high return, and that's not Republican. Jesus, it's not even conservative. Not at all.
No, that's
really not at all.
That's the thing about this moment, is that it really is, and in my opinion, Trump has completely transformed the Republican Party. It's something unrecognizable, and I believe he is in the process of destroying the Democratic Party. Single-handedly has beaten the duopoly, which is fascinating. But I agree with you too, that he needs to recognize the opportunity that exists in this unusual collection of people who has come together. And he needs to not see it as a challenge to his significance in this fight.
That's right.
Quite the contrary.
Right. It greatly increases the chances that he will attain the office and be successful once there, which is a key thing.
Well, and he can't do it alone.
Right.
Like
of
no
course.
one can do this alone.
No one would be able to. But the other thing, to your point about the narrative structure, I would make the following case. We have ancient stories. I still talk about Goliath for various reasons. But I would point the following thing out. Implicit, when I talk about Goliath as the force that opposes all meaningful change in our system, I know that I'm not talking about an individual, right? The population has gone up an order of magnitude since the story of Goliath was a literal story of any kind. What that means is Goliath has scaled up too. Goliath is now a composite of various institutions that are opposing change and various emergent properties that oppose change, and that's the thing that we have to fight. But what that implies is that David also is not an individual, greatly scaled up. And so the point is, why are these stories that you're pointing to drawing on this particular theme, right? And, it's not just these modern stories. You also have the Fellowship of the Ring. But
yes, of course.
The idea that it is going to be...
and they're defeating the all-seeing eye of Sauron, which is the technological replacement for God, by the way. So it's like Tolkien cottoned onto that, is that if you remove the transcendent as omniscient, you invoke the spirit that will transform the state into exactly that. And that is what that all-seeing eye of Sauron is. That's exactly what they built in China.
Oh, and
That's exactly right.
And we got a healthy dose of it during COVID.
We sure did.
Right.
And you can see it proliferating everywhere at quite the rapid rate.
Right. They told us what was true scientifically. They did not use a scientific process to arrive at it. They told it to us as if it had come from a scientific process. They told us how to protect ourselves, what ways we needed to restrict our freedoms. It was all, it was Eye of Sauron. So anyway, I don't think your idea is half as crazy as you seem to. It seems
that probably means that the three of us are crazy enough to find it interesting.
If it is, then so be it.
Yeah, well, c'est la vie. That's right. We are definitely in strange times. Anyways, the moral of the story, as far as I'm concerned, is that Trump does have a spectacular opportunity here to, well, even to graciously accede to potential criticisms of his age. It's like, fair enough, like, God, he doesn't know what's going to happen to him over the next 4 years. And I can't think of anybody who's laboring under a more dire existential burden than Trump in real ways. I mean, I've been tortured by one bureaucratic entity in Canada quite effectively for 10 years, and that's very annoying. I mean, he's got 10 enemies like that arrayed against him with much larger claws arrayed around all the time, which I think is partly why he was on the defensive in the debate. It's like, how much do you expect somebody to be able to tolerate? But he could share the load. And should. And he could present that. And it's something that can be done too at this gathering on the 29th. It's like, look at these people who've come together. Like, what the hell? Are we going to, is this the time to take a chance on such a motley coalition? And it seems to me, the part of me that's interested in an exciting adventure thinks, well, I can't imagine anything more interesting than Elon Musk running the Department of Government Efficiency. It's like, really? I'd line up to watch that.
I absolutely agree with you.